bring this meeting to order. We'll start right up here. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Ray, would you do the honors for us
Sure.
tonight, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, just thank you for this evening, Lord, and just thank you for another day, Lord. We can come together for this city council meeting, Lord, and I just pray you just be with the aldermen, be with the mayor, Lord, as they look forward for what's best for our town, and just thank you for these citizens that had enough concern to come out this evening, Lord, just for our law enforcement being here, Lord, just keep them safe, protect them, watch over them. But we just pray that tonight that you'd be honored, Lord, in whatever decisions we make, and I just pray you. Thank you for your son, Jesus, for these things we ask in your son's most holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Me out. You think the citizens, you think the
Excuse me, Lord, and how great thou art, lady.
Okay, first is approval of minutes. Review and approve minutes from December 13th special open meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion we approve the December 13th special open meeting minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Crystal? Yes, ma'am.
Next is to pay bills in the amount of $45,385.33.
I'll make a motion that we accept and pay the bills in the amount of $45,385.33.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll move on to old business, and that's to look at the MOPERM and what they're doing. And our policy with them expires in a matter of days, so we're going to have to do something. John, did you find out anything about the
Yeah,
Canale?
I spoke to Crystal.
No, we just do it next year.
Okay.
Is that
All right.
okay?
Well, okay, well, what I'm recommending is just re-up with MOPERM and reevaluate it next year.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time to
Yeah, right.
get into the issue.
Yeah.
So we need to,
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the MOPERM insurance for 2023.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You said evaluate in the spring or?
No, so in about October, we'll put it out for bid, and that gives insurance companies about 6 weeks
Yeah.
to get it and get close into us. And
Okay, we're gonna move on to the railroad quiet zone and do an update on that. And what I got some more paperwork from them. And I've been working with Moffett Nickel from Raleigh, North Carolina, and that is who the Kansas City Southern Railway uses for their engineering type work. And I've been going back and forth with these guys, Kansas City Southern, and about what it would take. And what we got back is a proposal from Moffett Nichols of what they would do and the different steps they would take and their fees. So I called them up and their fees are $30,500. So I called them up and I'm like, hey, I got your proposal. Is there anything else in addition to this? Because that's kind of high. He said, not on our side, but you might want to inquire with the railroad and, check with the cities, anything the city has to pay. So I called the railroad and they said, no, the railroad doesn't have any fees of any kind, but whenever they go through this evaluation, if they deem, you need to put in the little barriers in between the thing there, that will be the city's responsibility. And he said, if you want, what we do accept is the composite parking lot bumpers. I don't know what you'd call it. He said, those are acceptable. I said, okay, fine. So he said, well, here, I'm on the computer right here. He said, we think you're going to probably need this many feet, at this length. He done them with the 6-foot bumpers. He said, it's going to be $9,000 and some change. So I said, we're looking at a total of roughly $40,000 for a no quiet zone. He said, yes.
For how many crossings?
All be done. And so my take on that is, we've all been paying taxes for a long time with not a whole lot to show for it. We haven't had any progress here except for the last couple of years in a long time. So it's the taxpayers' money going out there, and if the taxpayers want to spend 40 grand on a no-horn zone, I'm all in. I think it's worthy. I think it would raise everybody in town's property value, and you know how it is when the water comes up, everybody rises. So that's how I feel about it.
Well, I had a phone call today from someone that has actually lost someone due to a no-horn zone.
Mhm.
And it's Heath Lewis. He lives right on the edge of our city limits. So technically he's not in city limits, and he was going to come tonight, but something came up and he was unable to make it. He's lost his mother in '91 due to a train accident. I believe it was at that one. And sister, yes. And I believe it was right there at Lark. They ended up, after so many accidents, they're changing that intersection because it was a dangerous intersection. And his point of view, which aligns with what I feel, is $40,000 worth it, even if, one life over the next 50 years is lost just to have a couple quiet zones. I mean, I've lived here my entire life, dealt with it. I mean, it's a minor inconvenience whenever we've had accidents in recent years. There's been a teenager several years ago hit by a train, walking down the tracks, not even at a crossing. There's concrete truck. There was a van a couple years ago where a child lost their life. I don't think that they're worth it. Not to mention, physically, I mean, really we couldn't put one with any sort of barrier at Whitmore, School Street, or the crossing on Gardner due to intersections.
I agree with you.
So the only place where we could possibly put one is on C Highway, which then would limit any commercial farm use, oversized equipment, or loads that go down that road, and semis barely fit down it as it is. So I don't think that it's worth $30,000 to $40,000 just to, if that ends up being the only crossing that we can do, it's going to benefit the least amount of people, because you have the post office and the few houses there. I mean, I'll still hear it at School Street, and I mean, I hear it all the way at the ballpark. So it's not, to me, I've just...
If you're doing good, then you're going to hear it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that, just because you live, anyone that lives right next to it thinks, well, let's get rid of it just for my gain. Because over 1,000 people in town, and it's gonna benefit less than 50.
Are there any other, is there any way you can find out if there's any other towns like our size?
Neosho's had it since 2010.
Yeah, well, they're not really our size.
Well, I mean, but they're more populated, more traffic, more everything, and they haven't had an issue.
And
And since 2010, you're looking at,
they've never had a death related to the railroad crossings, ever?
well, I don't know, I can't say ever, but, well, let's back up a step, let's look at us. And I can tell you right now, they only go back 5 years, but everyone that Mr. Sexton's talking about is outside of city limits.
The accidents were outside city
Yes,
limits?
absolutely.
The kid was hit between Whitmore and Gardner, the one that was walking down the tracks.
What does that have to do with?
I thought he was outside of between Neosho and here.
The one BNSF train conductor that basically blows his horn the whole way through town, which is the most annoying, I will give you that. He's the one that actually hit the kid. It was right there in between. He was wearing all black and they couldn't see him.
So then more honking would not have helped.
No more honking wouldn't help.
And I misspoke a while ago. I misunderstood what you were saying about having the barriers at those three. I thought you was talking about the delineators, which is the little barriers there. A couple of them, we can't put those in. There's just no place, nowhere for them to fit. And it's the three that you're talking about, Whitmore School and Gardner. And
I
So
appreciate the effort that was taken to get the numbers and find out what was available. But I would rather see the money right now being spent on some of the projects that we've already discussed and have them move forward on.
On the barriers, you're saying they can or cannot be on all but one?
they can go on the one right here at Split Log. School Street, no. Whitmore Street, no. And out by the ball field,
Gardner.
probably not. We might get a small one on the east side, but that'd be it. But what they're gonna look at is they're gonna go back 5 years to see what issues we've had here in town. I don't believe it to be any. I think the young man that got hit was outside of city limits. And they're gonna go back 5 years, and they're gonna be based on, what kind of cross-arm safety gates do we have? We have all the new modern ones, and we haven't had any issues. He said, once they come up and go through this evaluation, might not need any. So, I don't know, we won't know a whole lot until these guys, and if you'll notice how, on page 2, how they've got it broke down step by step, because that's the first comment I made. I don't want you to come in here and us spend 30 grand for you to tell us you can't have a quiet zone.
Right.
So, he sent this right here, and he said, we can go through this and really quickly let you guys know if you can have a quiet zone or not. And if we can, we can mosey on. This is what it costs in the end. And so,
What would you like to see the money spent on, the 40K? Any ideas?
Well, we got one police department, we got the streets, we've got water and sewer projects that could probably use that money right now.
Okay. Like? I mean, the streets, are we just talking about patching and repairing or equipment or?
Actually, they've requested equipment that we can't afford right now, but it would be nice if we could. One is a brush, so it can sweep some of the gravel and stuff off when it washes. All of the streets are not, I don't believe, capable of being done at once.
Okay.
And if we did do them all at once, I think as they deteriorate, we're gonna be replacing streets all.
How much could we get done on a street for $40,000?
not much.
More than we can without it. I mean,
So
but it's,
anybody really that knows
Only thing we have
Just
is,
those culverts alone.
just the what?
The culverts, the box culverts,
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty good chunk of
I mean, over the waste treatment plant, like we were talking about that?
that and Whitmore.
Okay.
well, we had cashed out a CD that we needed the 30K from, and that leaves the 70 to take on a project like that and still have plenty of room to pave all the streets at once and be done with it. Yes, there'll be they'll be probably not wearing out at the same time, but if we're only using, I've got a meeting coming up immediately after Christmas with Harry S. Truman on a grant to pay for the streets. And immediately after that, I've got one with Carol to talk about replacing our treatment plant altogether. So as far as not, spending 40 grand on a street to just do a patch, do it all at once, be done with it.
We don't have anybody here from the waste treatment or streets, do we?
No. So,
We have 2 CDs left,
3
CDs.
Yeah.
And that's a total of
300,000,
300,000.
some change.
So that's our cushion for everything that we have to operate in this town.
No, each department has its own cushion.
Each department got its own CD.
It's got its own cushion. The CDs are extra cushion for everything.
I just don't want to start counting our chicks before they hatch.
Right, I get it.
Well, we gotta start somewhere. Nothing's been done here except for the last couple of years and 15 years. Everybody's, well, I won't say everybody, there's a couple people up here that's not, but it's like everybody's hung up in panic mode and fear of moving, and that's not the stance to take when our town needs so much everywhere.
Well, where are we on the solar panels?
Made contact today. The USDA opened their REAP grant for renewable energy type stuff. I talked to the people in Arkansas, and they said that they've been working with people, and everybody that applied for it last year, 100% of the people that applied for it last year got the grant. So we could potentially get the one out here at the treatment plant that would be big enough to cover City Hall as well, and have both of them on solar. The bid that we had on that was $179,000 with a potential of a 10-year payoff. So what we would be doing is locking into today's prices for 25 years. And if we could get that, covered with a grant, even if it's a 20%, even if it's a 50% grant, 50-50 split, whatever the split is, it don't matter. That's half of what we would be paying anyways. So, and with the documentation that we got from them, using our own electric bills, so it's not some, it's actual numbers, the savings would be $701,000. So why would somebody not jump all over that? I mean, if I had that opportunity at home, I would certainly take it.
I apologize for not being up to date on the solar. I don't remember you telling me about a grant, so that's new.
Well, that's brand, they just opened it yesterday.
Okay, good, because I thought maybe
Yeah,
you
no,
told us.
they just opened that up,
Okay.
and I reached out to the guy in Arkansas. They've been working with them last year, that very same grant, and I talked to Harry S. Truman on that, and she's saying that she's gonna be here by the end of the week to address that one. So she's gonna be up here, we're gonna be all over the charts on working on grants and stuff, and if we could get any of them that's, could really happen, I'm all in. Let's make some improvements around
On
here.
every one of those grants, JR, we have to match money, and if we get enough of those grants, we're gonna run out of money.
Yeah, well, I didn't say go into it with our eyes closed. We're looking at,
What I'm saying is if we start spending our CD money to match our grant money with, we're gonna run out of funds.
Okay, so we've just gone round and round on 4 or 5 different subjects of things that have been brought to our attention. The mayor has investigated, he's done his due diligence, he's brought it to us, and we still haven't decided on anything. Nothing.
That's exactly right.
So let's all, can we?
That's why I say I would like to see us finish the projects.
Okay, finish which project?
Well, we're a little late on our streets.
Okay, so let's put the streets back, because we know that there's a big conflict there. What else? There's 4 of us here. So I like the solar, because in the long
I'm good
run,
with solar as well.
in the long run, it's gonna save us money. It reduces our footprint. It's a great idea. It brings us up into the 21st century.
And that's where we were talking about the treatment plant,
Yes.
operating on solar.
Yes.
more so than City Hall
Yeah,
because of the cost
it's expensive
And the
to run
return.
that plant. And what?
and the return that we
Yeah,
get.
it's a good return. So,
But if we're able to put enough panels out there to cover City Hall as well, I mean, it's.
and I think that's what.
Yeah, and that's what he mentioned.
Yeah.
Because at first we were talking about doing one project here on top and doing one out, and then we'd ask, well, what if we just do them all out there because we have plenty of room?
More secure.
And you don't have to worry about ever replacing them due to
I
roofs.
don't know
and
if you
stuff
were
like
here,
that.
Beth, but when we were talking about whether we put them on a roof or we put them
I was here.
on the ground,
Mhm.
okay. That because of the age of our roof,
Right.
if they put it up and we have to change the roof out or we have to do repairs on that, all of that's gotta come back off, that would be an additional cost of rehooking. And he said it would actually be probably beneficial if you didn't put them on the roof and could put them out.
Okay, does that increase, I remember talking about that, but I don't remember that we said that changed the cost.
Well, yeah, because they're structure to put them on the
And how
ground.
much it would change
Yeah.
the.
Well, that's why we was looking at putting it out there instead.
Oh, you mean the roof here?
Yeah, and instead of having.
Oh, I thought you meant the roof out of the way.
No, no, instead of having the
Okay.
panels on this roof,
Right,
put them
right.
out at the treatment plant.
Because we could do a ground array.
All right, so what can we commit to one another tonight? Nick, do you like the idea of the solar? Is it something you think good for Goodman?
Be beneficial, especially if we lose power
Yeah.
or keep losing.
If power grid goes down, the solar panels go down because the power that solar panels bring on have to go somewhere unless you have battery backups.
Is it grid
Right,
tied?
yeah, unless
Yes,
you've
it's
got
grid tied.
battery packs.
Basically,
and
it's
all that
one for
stuff.
I
one.
don't
For what
know.
you pump one in, you get to use
Well,
one.
no, I didn't know which way we were going, sorry.
Well, batteries are not
Expensive.
cost effective, especially whenever we have diesel generators already in place.
So can we make a commitment that we're gonna review this, we're going to,
Have we got numbers on the treatment plant solar yet?
Yeah, we've had it. We've had it all
We've had it.
along.
Yeah.
179.
179?
Yeah.
That was.
I think that they were handed to us a while ago,
You
but
got
that's
it
never
right
been on the
there.
agenda for us to
To
discuss
revisit?
and go through.
oh, thank you.
That's wrong.
Did you see that in place?
The mayor handed it to us one night as we were leaving and was like, this is gonna be coming up, and then it's just never.
That's the savings.
Okay. So, we've been looking at some really great ideas and things we wanna see happen, and they're all good. I think we should pick one. Sounds like everybody's on board for the solar. So, now what? What next? Do we throw a motion on the, what do we do?
Well, I mean, we need to see what information we can find out about this grant before we just go into,
Okay?
The REAP
saying
grant.
we're gonna buy something.
I mean,
And
if
when is-
100% of the people that put in for it last year, if 100% of the people got it, then I don't see any reason why we couldn't.
At least try.
Yeah, go for that because, I don't know if I think it's a 80-20 split. I'd much rather pay 20% of 179.
Right.
And 100.
Right.
And what's the drop dead date on the grant?
We're gonna, January 31st.
Oh, so
So
this.
we could you can find out information for the next meeting.
We're gonna fill it out, send it in.
Okay.
I don't know when they'll get back with us on who won or.
Well, not
everybody gets
that
it.
part, I was more meaning,
More
I didn't know if we
information
need
on the grant.
information on the grant, how much it is, how much up to, how much can we get, and,
Yeah, I'm hoping next week.
okay.
I'm hoping next week. But to follow up with Ms. Hallmark's questions here, personally, I would like to just take some of that money from the CD and put over here on the culverts over here at Whitmore and Garner and go ahead and stay ahead of that. That way, however the streets are done, if it goes through there, we're already ahead of the game.
Weren't we gonna use some of the funds that were,
ARPA.
Uh-huh.
And that's an additional 250,000 that we have on top of that we haven't accounted for yet.
Yeah, but that part, we wouldn't have to pull CD from the culverts.
The CD's already out, so we're not gonna lose any money on that, but the ARPA money, we can, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we can move forward on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what does
I
that mean
encourage
move
it.
forward? Now
Okay,
what?
that means we can get the box culverts in now, but we need to schedule that with the school too because of the bus routes.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
that's their main route now.
And I
So
haven't,
they would have to come in off of C
Do
highway
you need some help with that?
or,
What's that?
Do you need somebody to contact the school, somebody?
Well, not yet. The only thing I've been waiting on is a transaction that's going on right there at that intersection is what I was waiting on, so we could get some equipment in there. And I haven't heard anything about that.
and that's back on the property deal.
Yeah.
Because
So,
that still hasn't been finalized.
right, so I haven't,
Another one.
yeah, so, I mean, there's legitimate reasons why not a lot is going on right now, and it's not because, you know, we're
Right.
sitting on our hand or anything, it's just,
It just feels like it.
I know,
That we
it's
just
just,
talk,
it's
talk, and
things out
talk,
of
and
our
argue, and
control.
argue, and we don't get
I
anything
think the
done.
only thing
Sometimes
we're waiting
things
on
are out
there
of
is
our
the
hands
bankers in
though, when we're
California.
Yeah.
waiting on other parties. But, I mean, I think we have a much better ideas for what to use money on than this right now. I mean, it's been this way for as many years and as I've been here and well before that, and, I mean, it's just something people that live near train tracks have to deal with. I
No,
mean,
you don't have to. You don't have to pay taxes. You can step up and say, hey,
Well,
we would like this. We would like this.
Well, I'm not sitting on a track, but I have property that's 2 miles out of town, and when I'm out there, I hear that train real well.
Absolutely. I mean,
Both
here,
directions.
yeah, there's no need, for it to be like that. There's a massive fence that goes from, School Street to Whitmore, all the way across there. So any kids that's gonna be crossing is gonna have to go to either street crossing, and they've got the cross-arm safety gates. And the problems that we have had has been outside of town, and what they're gonna look at is the last 5 years inside of town. So, you know, I believe it's up to the people, myself, I mean, we work for them, let the people decide, and I've heard far more people in favor of no horn zone.
Well, so when you
I-
say
I'd
that,
like-
these are the people tonight. Did you want to have an open forum? I mean, did you want to have a city-wide?
Roundtable?
We could do like a
You know?
town hall type meeting.
Yeah.
Because so far, the only one that said no that I've heard is Mr. Sexton.
Okay, so, good point, if we can, and I think maybe we should, because,
For sure, it's gonna affect the whole town.
his argument is a passionate argument,
Mm, Sure.
you know.
I don't
and-
disagree, I mean, I
yeah.
fully understand.
So, when can we do that?
The sooner, I'll make myself available, I mean, just, let's set a date and do it.
You're probably looking into January sometime.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
that?
January or
January.
first part of
Oh, okay,
February.
yeah. And whenever I was talking to Kansas City Southern, and this was just a couple of Friday, and I asked him, you know, hey, we go through all this engineer stuff and everything that needs to happen. We put in, if it's, you know, decided that we need the little medians there, everything's done the way it's supposed to be done, how long are we looking? He said potentially 6 months or less. So it's something that for real could be done, it could be done easily, and, you know,
Could we have a representative come to our town hall meeting?
if we secure a
Are
date,
you
I'm
laughing
sure.
at me yet?
A little bit. Sorry.
Well, that's it.
I just don't want to get out of here without a decision. I mean,
I don't know. I can't see them sending somebody out here.
oh, you can't? Okay.
They done
all right.
they done it for Beth when they put that last syndicate in.
During the day though, right?
Well, that's what we asked for, so
We can try.
we can check. Do you want MoDOT or you want Kansas City Southern? Who do you
Yes.
ask?
I'd say you better get them both.
Yeah, because you can't do one without the other, yeah. So I'll reach out to them. I need a date.
Can we pencil in the date? January 17th seems like just around the corner, seems like. Oh, but this isn't for a council meeting, this is for a town hall, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Is that what you want, January 17th?
no. Besides, it's hard to see what she's calling it. What about January 26th? It's a Thursday. That's a weird day of the week. Nobody plans anything on Thursday. Do they?
I don't. I don't plan on anything except on your word.
We need a motion for this, or can we just do
Times.
a time? 7?
That way Nick can be here.
There
No
we go.
motion.
Excuse me?
No motion.
No motion needed or anything like that? All right, great.
Okay, so
So,
we're tentatively planning on a town hall meeting, January 26th, at 7 PM, and where do we want to have this at?
the school, maybe? Can we find out in the next week or so where we can have it?
We've got the,
Community building?
yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, how about the community building?
Oh, there's a good one.
How could I forget that?
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
And I think we can get the community building.
Okay. So town hall,
Okay, we ready to move forward?
yes, I am.
Next on the agenda is the director's reports. We'll start with the city clerk. The community building, November had 10 bookings, December had 9 bookings. Late notices were mailed out, 12/19. Front desk currently has 130 users of our goal of 200 by the end of December. Of the 130 users signed up for full auto payments for the billing. Business license renewal were mailed out the 7th. Contractor's license renewals were 12th. Ongoing streamlined project process. Preparing documents for the 2022 audit with KPM. Public Works. Delivered, missed, and additional trash cans. Leak loss reporting, anything under 10% is considered good. We had 8.5. In November, we had 10.7. Keith and Gabriel completed the testing for the wastewater classes in November. Keith has received his Class D wastewater certification.
Yuki?
And they patched potholes in November and preparing for the weather in December.
Can I ask a question or before?
Ask
do
me
you
a
wanna
question.
finish? Okay. What's the delivered, missed, or additional trash cans mean?
So if for some reason we have a new resident that moves into a house that didn't get a trash can when cards came around and delivered them all, we deliver those. Also, if you call and say, hey, I need 2 trash cans now, then we deliver the second trash can.
Okay. All right.
Now, can I bring something up on Public Works real quick?
Sure.
Okay, I think Keith probably discussed this with you already, but our animal control situation, some of the animals do not want to participate in being caught. So he has requested purchase of a rifle.
Tranquilizing.
So not to kill the animals, I'm not talking about,
Sorry, whatever.
yep,
Yeah.
we're talking about a
Livestock tranquilizers.
Yeah, I don't have a problem
tranquilizer,
with that.
but when we do that, they also need to contact the veterinarian so that they get the dosage correct for the size animal they're trying to bring down. Also, what steps need to be taken to bring the animal back around so it doesn't die. So,
Okay, what's our liability with that?
well,
We're talking about a dog that the owner has somehow forgotten they owned it. But just as sure as we hurt that animal, you're gonna have an owner pounding
well,
the
that's,
pavement.
but then you've got,
Well, then, legally, we're allowed to shoot them.
Oh,
we don't want to do that.
No.
We don't want to, but.
Right. I know what got this all started. We've had a couple of pit bulls that were aggressive, and
We
they're,
have one, another one's too.
yeah, the poles they got, I don't know, I think they're 6 foot with the loop on the end of it. I would not want to be that close to a mad dog. And then you've got to get it up into the cage. I don't want no part of that.
sure.
And I couldn't imagine anybody-
When it comes to dog attacks, especially multiple dog attacks, we've had some instances here in the county, different towns. If you've seen the pictures, how they even survived is miraculous, because it literally tore them apart.
Yep. Yeah, I don't, I'm on board with,
Do they need
pursuing that
any, do
further.
they need any training?
That's what I was getting ready.
Yeah, well, I think we need to pursue this further.
Okay.
Reach out to a veterinarian, we've got some local ones here real close in either direction, and get some input. You know, yes, this is feasible, other towns do it, you know, do we need training, what kind, how long? And go forward, and, you know, we can check back in and, you know, after the first year, yes, this is feasible, this is what it'll cost.
The
And,
rifles are between $400 or $500.
Right.
The darts, some of them are reusable, depending on what size you get, what you want.
Okay.
I mean, there's some costs there that, because the darts, sometimes it's a one shot and it's kaput.
The rifle up here was only $237.
Huh?
The rifle up at the feed store. Is it more?
okay, so we'll go ahead and check into that further and get some pricing and stuff. We'll come back to this one. We'll move on to the total declaration of the month of 2022. Current real is $11,647. Real priors is $63.41. Penalties is $27.15. Personal current is $4,032.66. Personal priors $45.08, and personal penalties is $11.60. Total collections for November is $15,780.37. Total abatements, $1,054.59. Total additions for November is $542.73. Total remaining balances, real and personal, is $59,534.60. And penalties total is $8,428.75.
Good question.
Certainly.
I've asked this before, and you've helped me understand it, but I've slept since then, so I need somebody to explain it to me again. On the penalties, I see there's a big difference between personal and the real
Real
estate.
estate.
Okay, so why is the personal so much higher than the real estate? First, that's my first question.
Well, it might be a truck or just a little trailer or something like that, and the real estate be your house. That's why it'd be so much different. And everybody's gonna be different because everybody's gonna have different vehicles or trailers.
Why is the total percentage different?
Yeah, or that.
Seems like a big difference to me.
It is.
There's,
The percentage, she's asking why it's percentage for,
I'm talking about the
Personal's higher.
penalties.
the penalties amount.
Yeah, are they not
They're-
paying their personal taxes where
Right.
they do pay their real estate taxes?
Right, because real estate, you know, it'll go to county, but if you don't pay your city car tags, you can still get your license
Yeah.
or your plates renewed,
I
so.
think you ought to fix that, by the way.
I'm not disagreeing with you, that's not,
That's
Okay,
a
so
state-
anyway, so the penalties
what?
are,
a state thing.
Oh,
what happens if you don't pay your personal tax? They come and take your personal property away?
no, nothing.
Of course not, I know that. Question remains then, how do we collect that almost $8,000?
It's called the honest man's tax.
there,
Well, I'm sure there's a couple ways. Good. I know after so long, at 3 years here, you know, we'd have to start looking at, you know, just dismissing it or something, I would imagine.
We'll take them to court, and then you end up spending more, generally because it's so small, amounts over such a wide variety, that it's not cost effective. You actually lose money.
Two-thirds,
money.
right, two-thirds of our base total is in personal property.
Mhm.
Does that look right?
But you gotta
20
remember,
out
a
of
lot of these
60,
people on personal
well,
property
one-third, excuse me.
have no real estate. They're either renting or leasing. They don't actually own property other than their personal property.
Well, it just seems like,
And a lot of the real properties are being paid. Like if you have mortgages, they've already paid them.
Yeah, there's penalties to not paying your,
Property.
Well, I'm saying,
Real estate.
so what I'm hearing is, I guess we're just stuck.
no, there's There's ways to
Like
do
that.
it, you just have to venture out and find them.
Okay,
Well, one of them is to
Questions?
have, like right now, we have our court, Pineville does our courts for us. They go through all the headaches, send us a check for whatever, after the fee. The same thing can be done, I would think, because they do half of it already. They already do the math and print out the taxes and send them here.
okay, so, in what in a little bit of homework I've done, in cities like ours and around our size who have turned everything over to the county, folks can't go in and just pay their city taxes when the county's taken care of. They gotta pay it all. That would be beneficial to us, depending on how much the county would charge us to
No,
collect our
they'll still
taxes.
collect their county tax
Right,
and may not collect your city tax. So the city, they may not pay their city tax, but they will have to pay their county tax.
Well, if
But
it's
that's not
taxed,
what
they'll
I-
have to pay both or not get their tag that year.
I think that's what I was told. But it may be
Yeah.
different in this county.
I don't think it is. I mean, if you put them together and somebody goes in to pay their taxes, to get their tags, they'll have to pay their taxes, and we would not be, close to 10 grand,
Penalties.
not with,
Okay.
with penalties, because I don't know if that's added together, if that's 1 year, 2 year, I don't know.
I know there's people that haven't paid in over 5+ years, and it's still, penalties are figured out every single year.
Wow.
Yep,
All
that's
right.
sad. That's real sad.
Yeah.
That's throwing money out the window. Not in
Something
our
to think
county.
about, everyone.
Okay. Did that answer your question or help you in any way?
Yeah, it did, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. Let's do the police, yeah. You wrote that, yeah. The police department for November, 187 total calls for service, 35 traffic stops, 7 animal calls, 13 suspicious circumstances, and 8 domestics. Good job, everybody. And we'll move on. Was there any,
Just fix my lip, sorry.
nobody signed up? Okay, thank you. New
Can I
business?
sign up then? Is
Do
it
you
too
need to
late?
sign up?
Yeah, I just had questions because of all the stuff that you guys just talked about.
I guess that's up to the mayor.
Sign her up.
I had to stand a white over here, I mean.
The,
Just the total package.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, Mr. Jordan?
So,
Thank you.
one was, you guys had talked about cards, knowing that on big holidays, they're gonna have extra trash. Well, Thanksgiving is a big holiday for me. I mean, we had family all over.
Sure.
And I had extra trash, so I took the other trash can out there, but it didn't get picked up. So I don't know, is it, and of course, I just took it to a job site dumpster, so it is not that big a deal. But I know I've seen it other places around. So like on 4th of July or Thanksgiving, and of course Christmas is coming up, so
Sure.
Christmas is probably gonna be way more.
Right?
And since we don't have, 2 card dumpsters, do they know? Are they supposed to? Do they get?
I reached out to him right before, I was talking to the vice president. I talked to him right before Thanksgiving about the holidays. He said, yes, we will make provisions, but that, I didn't even think about any of that until you said that. But I could reach out to him tomorrow and say, hey, look, we had this discussion, Christmas is coming, went by Thanksgiving and no extra was picked up, working with us here.
Well, and I appreciate you putting it in a trash can, because if it's on the ground, dogs and stuff can go. But I also remember when they first gave us the trash cans, they were like, we won't touch any other trash cans but ours. So are people just supposed to put it out on the ground where people, I appreciate what Mr. Jordan did by putting it in trash cans, so
Right.
that way it was contained. and
Right.
While dogs running around or whatever couldn't get to it. But that does beg the question of if you only have one and it doesn't all fit, do you put it on the ground or you know, everybody should have extra trash
I
cans.
don't think they're gonna pick it up off the ground any quicker than they pick it up out of a can.
That's my thought as well, but I remember when they first gave trash cans, they wouldn't touch any other trash can that wasn't in carts.
Yeah, and
So,
then they've held
but-
true to that.
But I've also seen where they don't pick up trash that's sitting on the ground either, so.
Right.
You know, but they said, you know, if occasionally there's extra trash, you know, they'll still pick it up or whatever, especially around holidays.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that, so I think we need some.
Well, this is like the, you know, the test right here, and I didn't pay any attention to it. I apologize for that at Thanksgiving. And I appreciate you bringing my attention, because I will have him on the horn, holding his feet to the fire tomorrow, and ask him about Christmas, and hopefully I can text you a message tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that comfort you any, or make you?
Yeah, I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
because I was here when he said all that stuff, and
Yes.
I was wondering, well,
Yeah, and
what happened?
you got places where you can take it if that ever happens again, but 95% of the rest of the town
Yeah.
might not, so.
Right.
So.
Because you know there's gonna be TV boxes,
Yeah,
there's gonna be all
absolutely.
kinds of big stuff this coming Christmas. And
Right.
Yeah.
What else did you have, Rex?
the other thing was, so you were talking about not paying their taxes, can't the city just say, hey, we're gonna pass a law that says if you don't pay your personal property tax,
If you don't pay it, what?
No,
yeah. Well, I heard you talking about like, you can join it, or can it be joined with McDonald
Well,
County?
they do half of it now.
Okay,
They take the numbers, send it down to county processes everything, puts it in envelopes, and brings it back up here
Mhm.
already. So they're already involved, so, you know, you just have to ask.
but can you tie it, like, pass a law and tie it into your
We'd
water
have to
bill?
ask.
If you don't pay your personal property tax, you're shutting your water off. I don't know, I'm just
That's
asking.
illegal.
They can't do nothing
You
like
can't
that?
shut people's water off.
Okay.
Yeah, but, you know, that leaves a whole lot of room for questions, you know, what can we do, what can we not do?
Mhm.
And if they could just do it all down there and send us a check, I'd be okay with that too, if they could enforce it.
If we come out ahead, that would be nice.
And the other thing was, you said that for the no horn, they could use those fiberglass bumpers.
Yes,
And then for me, I'm just thinking is that, you know, they're this tall.
6-inch requirement.
Yeah, okay, so they're that tall. So when you was talking about the big equipment, you know, most of the big equipment's up off the ground this well, where if they had to, you know, most of the guys knows how to drive. They just wait for people to go by, and then they just straddle it to be able to go over for their farm equipment, for like Morgan's with their hay machines and stuff like that. It would be clearing on that.
They run over bigger stuff than 6 inches out in the field.
Yeah, and then I didn't understand, what was that $30,000 for?
They're consultants.
Engineer, yeah, they call them a consultant, it's an engineer, it's an engineering service, and they're just insanely expensive. Same with anything else the city tries to do, you know, you get an engineer involved and they're crazy expensive. So I've got it right here if you'd like to see it, or I can give you a copy afterwards, or.
Yeah. So, it takes an engineer to just say, we're gonna put a fiberglass thing in, drive in some rebars and.
No, it's more than that, because you have federal involved, the FRA.
Oh, okay.
And it goes way deeper than I care to go in. And with the one that we have here is, they go through everything from start to finish, because that was what the guy from Kansas City Southern, he said, I don't know, you know, if he's, you know, looking at doing this or this, you know, it could cost this, and then you'll have to do all this. And I said, well, wait just a second. I emailed it over to him while I was sitting there on the phone. He's like, oh no, they're addressing all the different people for you, and whenever they get done, it's gonna be, hey, let's do this or not do this. He said, but if you know, you'll know up top, if you're not gonna get it, they're not gonna spend their time or your money going on with it if it's not possible. But I can't see that, because we got too many things in our favor going.
And the gates and the horns, it's safety, life-saving safety equipment. So it's imperative that if we want to know horn, that we do our homework and our due diligence and make sure that everything's in place to ensure that those crossways remain safe. Hence, you know, an engineering firm to come in and an engineering firm who has experience in that.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, the guy told me, he, from Kansas City Southern, he said, I'll tell you right now, he said, even if we don't like it, when these people address the FRA, which is Federal Railroad Association, he said, if they say go for it, he said, that's gonna trump the train and everything about it, you'll get one, period. So it's up to the federal and what they say, and they know what they're doing, they know how to address the federal, they know how to address all of them, this is what they do, and they could just take care of it and us not have to worry about it.
Gotcha.
We could probably fudge through it, but who knows how long it would take. Personally, I'd rather let a professional deal with federal.
I see.
As far as me, I just have no interest in it. I wouldn't know what I thought about railroad. I don't know what the requirements are or anything else. So that's why it's so expensive. But then again, it goes back to this, I can always speak for myself. No, I can't. I'm married. I can speak for half the town anyways. Everybody I've talked to's been positive about it. And I understand what's been brought up, and rightfully so. I fully understand that. But, you know, just letting one person, you know, say, I don't want this because, I understand, fully sympathetic. But, you know, it's time for us to move forward and keep moving forward with everything we do. And so far, I've only heard nothing but positive things about this. And like I said earlier, we're the taxpayers. If you guys say let's do it, you know, then let's do it. It's your money.
I would say though, I would like to see all the positive feedback you've been getting, because the comment section on the Facebook post you made on the city page, comments are blocked on that. I've had a couple other phone calls, but that one was today and he was gonna come want me to speak on his behalf. But I've had others that have said that they think it's stupid, but because.
Well, let's see them, bring them up.
At the town hall. I mean, that's
Okay.
all that we can do,
Okay.
but, I mean, if you've had all this positive, I mean, it's the same thing, you've said it, but, I mean, I had a phone call, I got text messages, and all of that, where's emails or anything showing us that it has any positive support, because I haven't seen any positive support, and places where it's been posted where people can put comments one way or another is blocked where they can't.
Which
Our-
Facebook site is that?
Our city Facebook
City
page.
Facebook.
Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
get
I
that.
mean, we can't, if there are comments on there, you know, none of us aldermen can see it if it's good or bad.
But don't you have an Alderman page?
But I will say, I don't post that because it doesn't reach as many people as some other pages. There's not as much of a view as what the city page has.
Well, Greater Goodman and 3 other ones that have to do with making Goodman great, and Facebook, they get a lot of feedback, but I haven't seen anything on that subject on those Facebook pages. And maybe I've missed them, but I usually check in pretty often. So maybe that's a place to put it out there. Well, we're gonna have a town hall anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the last thing is that, I know you talked about before how oil was way up and for the cities and everything. Is there such a deal where you could go ahead, since gas is down, oil is down right now, go ahead and purchase it? Like, you know, propane, you can buy propane in the summertime knowing that it's
Sure.
gonna be, can you do something like
Well,
that?
I'm not understanding your question.
Well, could you pre-buy? gas?
Pre-buy the asphalt.
That would be a tough one. I know whenever we had these streets out here done, there wasn't necessarily a shortage of it, but they was having to look for it. So the odds of that happening might not be too good.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, right now with everything, you know, still being fairly high, it might be accessible. I don't know. I haven't asked
A
them.
lot of the oil, the roads, one of the companies is Coastal, and you can buy that, but they want you to take delivery by a certain point. Same thing when you buy your materials, whether it's gonna be, if it's pre-mixed, you gotta get it going, because it's gonna set up on you.
Yeah.
So our problem there would be storage, where you go with it. And how long are you gonna let it sit before you start to move it? So that's where kind of a fly in the ointment for future big buys like that would be.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just asking, I didn't know if it could or not.
Asphalt is concrete, so I, you know, as far as, you know, buying that ahead of time, who knows where the market would be then? They might not have any then, you know, or something.
It's kind of like salt was a few years ago. you didn't already have your delivery, you didn't get any.
Yeah.
And you had to bring that in all the way from Kansas.
Did that get taken care of?
Yeah.
You got more?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's move on to new business, and Danielle Del Marco will not be attending tonight. Don't know why, but she can try back after the first of the year. Discussion about regarding possible annexation going north on Highway 59. That's just started. That's going to be a lot of work there. I've already got a lot of the legwork done on the first section. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. Each one has just a list of all the different things that needs to be done. And so I've got started, you know, on a lot of it, and I'm hoping to, looking at putting in submitting it right after the first of the year, getting it put together.
I have the map, but that's,
Well, the annexation, I think the main reason that was being looked at is for water, because there is a well that we may be able to bring that water down. But there are a lot of bridges you're gonna have to cross before you get it from an area here.
So what I'm wanting to do is just submit it, and then however far they'll let us go, just that much better.
Gotcha, yeah.
So I'm not gonna get the quotes up just yet.
And you're only talking right of way, highway right of ways.
Yeah.
You're not talking about forcing people in.
I think you mentioned MoDOT had approached you, but because this is at the last meeting, there were people that weren't here. Didn't MoDOT say that, you know, they want city limits to go to city limits and all that, and it's the edge of fire districts or something along those lines? And that's why we're looking at going there. The Goodman Fire District goes all the way to the south lane of AA. So we'd be going up to that point and getting our entire fire district areas.
Maybe that's the goal.
Maybe that's the goal.
Gotcha,
McElhaney.
yeah.
Stop Yoshua from coming down to
And,
us.
you know, I don't know, that's just in the works. It's something that we've been working on for, well, I think that started about a month and a half ago. Next is utility bill average for David Latham at $205. Thank you. Mr. Latham, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for participating with us tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank everyone for being here. My water has been averaging since I got here about $50 to $59. I had a water hose break last month, and it cost me $166. No problem. I paid it. This month I get one for $236.
Did you get your leak fixed?
Oh yeah, the leak. I fixed the leak the first couple days I found it. And I just need some help. I can't afford to
What do
pay
you
it.
think the discrepancy was there? Why did it have such a jump?
I don't know. Keith came out and he looked at the meter.
Was the meter moving at all?
He said that the meter had corrected itself for whatever was wrong. It's reset and it's doing fine now. It was only 2 people, me and my wife. She passed away in September, so it's me and the dog.
Right.
I don't consume it.
So, but you're quite positive there's no water leak now?
Positive.
Okay, so,
And if you think about it, for that kind of water spillage, there would be puddles everywhere.
how much was your bill this last month? 200?
212.
212, 712.
Yeah.
Do you know what the average would be?
I do. It says 108.63.
108.63 average?
That's his 6-month average.
That's everything. Is that just water or is that water, trash and?
That's water track, that's his entire bill.
Okay,
Yep.
so it's not just water? it's-
Right.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
got
but the
Yeah,
other
I've
part
got my
based on
bills
the
here
water
from-
usage.
Yeah, how much water usage do
From
you?
2000 all the way up to now.
Right.
And,
That was
I
been averaging.
paid early, I never late.
No.
I need some help.
Yeah, I don't have, yeah.
I absolutely do not have a problem with
So
it.
absolutely not.
When before, it was a little bit more. went down. Okay, so that's when
Here's the
there's the leak.
yeah,
This-
then this one went up.
166, what is it, the
Yeah,
leak?
that doesn't.
But I think what
Question.
happened is that I think the leak started right before we read meters and continued a few days after we read meters. I know you said you fixed it within a couple of days of noticing it, but with the usage going from 2,000 gallons up to 12,000, then up to 16, it tends to state that it broke right before we read meters and wasn't quite fixed till after we read meter, you know. So that's why it's two separate bills is why you see a leak in it.
Okay, let me ask you this, it looks like normally, his bills have been running less than $100. So, I personally, I'm all in favor of, this is the first time you ever came in for a request like this.
That's correct.
I don't have a
And
problem
my bills have
giving
been
him
running.
an adjustment on that to the 108.63.
Yeah.
How's that?
We
Oh,
need a motion.
Well, I make a motion that we, what are you?
Is that
That's still
what
tight.
you, yeah.
And
I
then-
want a fixed income and it's not fixed, that
Well,
good.
I do have a question, because he paid October's and the leak started in October and went over 2 months. Is it possible to average it and take out that
That's what I was
October,
saying,
because
to
that
do that, because
October
that's-
is
Yeah, that's
It's
throwing
skewing
it,
it.
it's skewing it to a higher end.
I understand.
Because
What
that,
would be, Nick? A normal average with us.
Okay.
Bear with us just for a minute.
Mhm.
So that put his average bill at 68.35-ish.
I'll make a motion, we average this bill to about 68. Or, no, let's do 65. Make a motion for $65.
Okay. I appreciate
I'll
it.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're absolutely welcome. You have a good holiday, sir.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Y'all take care.
You too.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Yes, sir, thank you. The pleasure was all mine.
God bless you, welcome.
Take care. Up to good pipe.
Next on the agenda is Jared Miracle. Floor yours, madam. We're looking at averaging another bill here, and I saw them out there with a little mini traco working on it, so I'm quite certain it is fixed.
Yes, as a matter of fact it is. I know that normally we run about 4,500 gallons for our household of 30. And Keith let us know right away that we had used about 29,000 gallons within approximately 10 days.
Didn't add a couple swimming pools, did you?
You know, it would have been nice. Not a hot tub, nothing to go for it. So we did get a hold of Roto-Rooters, and it took them approximately 10 days to get out and get it all taken care of. Crystal told me this month it's already over 59,000.
When we read, so I did send Keith out on Friday after the plumbers had left, and from November's reading to December 9th, they used 57,400 gallons, so I have included that in this average.
You have not.
I have. So
But
my
I don't see, but we
proposed,
don't see it here.
no,
It's on the very top.
Very top, December, January.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It just is in a weird spot, but
It is, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so currently I have an outstanding bill of $360 some that was due 4 days ago. I'm hoping that we can somehow get some help. I've got a nice little paid in full invoice from Roto-Rooters. We made sure to do the whole house. So there will be no additional leaks, not only from the main to the house, but that duct taped pipe that was underneath the house for the last 15 years. Yeah, it's now PEX and the whole house has been redone. So if anybody wants to see this nice
I'm
little
scared of it, to be honest with you.
I would say Texas
12
is
months.
about
12 months,
$2.80
same
a
as cash.
foot.
So is it about that much?
X, I don't know.
yeah.
So I don't know what you guys can do to help me out, but anything would be appreciated.
Well, this one here is the same, you know, up until this point, it was $89 is the highest one I see on here. So now to have a,
And 341 and then a 617.
And the 193 is essentially averaging November, December's bill, because we just read meters, so there's not gonna be a whole lot of usage beyond, now that everything's fixed. So it's basically averaging November and December. So when their normal bill is about $90, that's where the 193. But however the council would like to do so.
So what's the difference here between because the last one wasn't that big of a difference. What's the difference between the 193.02 and the 766?
Because if you add their December bill
Mm-hmm.
and their November bill together,
Okay.
you get the 959, which
Okay.
is right under the, and if you subtract what
The
the
391.
6-month average of 193.02, you get that I'm proposing to write off 766.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just to clarify.
So what are we proposing to,
I'm waiting on Nick's math.
okay.
Nick, are you questioning the math?
No, I'm not questioning that.
Not her.
Good effort. Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we average this out to 160
2 months.
for the 2 months.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. 160?
160
160?
For the 2 months, for,
combined
yes.
amounts. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Better. All right.
Yes, very much so.
You have a Merry Christmas too.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the year-end procedures. Motion to close fiscal year 2022 as of December 31st.
Motion that we close fiscal year 2022 as of December 31st.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion, we, on January 1st, we open fiscal year 23.
I'll second it.
You're stealing the thunder. All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
At least you could still say that part.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're all good, I'm playing. First reading of ordinance 2022-552, adopting fiscal year 2023 approved city budgets.
I make a motion, we accept bill number 2022-552, ordinance number 2022-552.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the second reading for ordinance 2022-552, adopting fiscal year 2023, the approved city budgets.
Make a motion, we adopt bill number 2022-552, ordinance number 2022-552 for the 2023 fiscal year city budget.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is to go into closed session, 610.021.
Make a motion, we go into closed section for 610.021, Article 3, personnel.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be right back, folks.
Hey, a word of praise though, it shows you right there, you guys as a city council, the mayor can work together, because doing the right thing's not always easy, but you did it tonight, so maybe that's something positive for the next year, we can, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor, did you want
It's
me to
encouraging
attend
to work
close?
together.
Mayor, are you taking minutes to close or am I?
You can, come on in here, join us.